One of the key ingredients to good game lies in good level design. Counter-Strike being a competitive FPS has to take that to another level. Everything must flow well, the gunfights have to be enjoyable, and the angles must be comfortable but challenging and fair. Rotations must be possible, but not made too fast. The visibility must be on point, and the utility must be used well. All of this, and more, makes for good experience on a competitive map. Since Counter-Strike 2 is just around the corner, I want to share with you my map making journey for CSGO from how it started to how it is now. I started mapping for CSGO all the way back in December of 2017. Back then I didn't really have any sense of map making, especially for Counter-Strike. My idea for mapping came from my school, and no, not that school, but I did make a school, question mark? Basically an outside area with 2 bomb sets instead of inside of a brick building filled with crates. Yeah, it's a bad idea and a bad map, but it's a start. It's cliche start, but it's a start and it's nothing special. The following months I would work my way up the tutorials from known names like 3Clicks Philip, Top Hat Waffle and others, while, well, to be honest, it was mostly these two, you know. And since I was still in 7th grade, I'd draw a bunch of radar overviews during class, and I used to have sheets of paper literally filled to the brim with map layouts. In the meantime, I also made a couple of small maps that I didn't really put a lot of effort into, or time. I even tried making a map for the zombie escape game mode, and it didn't quite work. My first solid map was called the Ignis. It's supposed to be something like Inferno, similar with the name, because there's a banana-like quarter, but that's about it. I did revise it a couple of times later when I made other maps, but ultimately it ended up wholly with half a grey box map. Next up was the Paralyze. This one I went straight into detailing, and it wasn't really a good idea. It had a better layout than the Ignis, but it needed great changes. So I remade it entirely in grey box so that I can change it easier, but the same thing happened. Only ended up with half a map that was basically Inferno's bombsite A. After those 2 maps there was an exotic mapping contest, and that's where I made the Santorini, the Anguilla. I got inspiration from one single villa that I saw on Google, and that's about it. It had a stacked bomb site and a pool bomb site, which were both very horrible to play, and it never got past grey box either. I tried also making some changes later, but it didn't work out. I also tried making a map for Wingman contest, the E-Chamber. It had a gimmick, it would use portals, you know, but the problem with that was people wanted to shoot through the portals and also chuck nades into them. And I didn't think that technology is quite there yet for CSGO, at least not to my knowledge. I had fun with this map though, but it was nothing near competitive. Then finally we come to my 2 latest maps, a zombie escape map and a defuse map. One is Serious Sam and the other is the E-Gale. Serious Sam is my first actual zombie escape map, and it was also for a contest. And this time I made it 5th instead of like not being on the list at all. At the time it had lack of content as it had only 1 stage with no items or NPCs, but later on I added more stages and more stuff, so basically it's a full game now, you know. The E-Gale is my latest defuse map that I've been working on for the last 2 years or more, with pauses of course, and it went through a lot of changes, a lot of which I was skeptical about making, but ended up either great or horrible. The main features I could not bring myself to change was the route going from under one of the bomb sites. Over the time it had developed though in many ways. Now I have this double layered mid paths, one leads to CT and bomb site A and the other leads to bomb site B and CT, and they are crossing each other. If you want to rotate STs from B to A, you go through underpass, and if you want to rotate from A to B, you can go through overpass. For B I tried making it so there is crossfire, but it's not very good for holding on CT side. Bomb site A is a bit simpler, and while I do miss the old drop into pit, I think this new path can work well. One phenomenon I discovered while making this map is that when different people test your map and you make changes, you sometimes result in going back and forth with some changes. Like this wall over here on B. Initially people said it was useless, but then later as time moved on, other people said I should add a wall, just like that, on the exact same spot. Same thing happened to mid. I used to have a single entrance for upper mid that also had a sightline into underpass, and people didn't like it. Then I changed it, and people would tell me to make it a single entrance again. It's something you ultimately need to settle onto and trust your guts instead of someone else's, or just say it's enough and cut the line there. I think I am closely approaching that stage. Well, at least I hope so, to be honest. Finally, I'd say Aaron should try making a map at least once. It really is a challenging task, but you can make so much of it. For myself, even after 2500 hours in CSGO and 3300 hours in Hammer, I'm still learning new things to this day about both the game and the source engine in Hammer.